Well, I changed this capacitor out. It's going from... I printed the schematic. I got ink. I got some ink so I could print the schematic. So I'm hoping you guys can see that pretty well. I changed C4, this capacitor right here, between the 12 B6, and the way it's actually wired, it goes to this IF can pin 4. It's the way it's actually in the... But when they draw them, when they draw these, they don't draw them. They don't draw them that way as they're laid out. So I got it changed. I want to plug it in now and see if the radio comes alive. This might be resurrection. I don't make these videos. This is like, you know, I don't make a lot of videos. First time I'm really doing this, and this with this radio. This is only the third radio I've ever repaired. I'm no expert by any means. I'm just bored out of my mind. So this COVID-19 lockdown thing is, you know, gets to a person. So just thought I'd do something kind of interesting. So I plugged the clock back in here. Let's get all of this in place. So I've got the clock plugged back in so it can... See if you can see that dial a little better. I need to maybe lower this down. Yeah. Alright, so make sure this is turned. So it's turned on. The clock is running. The light bulb's coming on. You can't see it, but it's drawn just 119 volts, and it's 0.18. So the tubes are warming up. There. It's not as noisy as it was, but it is still pretty noisy. Some hum, but I can make the hum go away by turning the volume down. So there's probably another capacitor in there making noise. I've only changed one. I'm hoping the radio comes alive here. Where I live, if I don't put my hand on the antenna coil, it really doesn't pick up very well. Oh!
The State Department of Health reports a total of 567 deaths. The number includes 9 newly reported deaths in King County, 3 more in Snohomish County, and 1 more in Pierce County. Benton County also reports 4 new deaths today. Garfield County in southeast Washington is the only county in our state to report a single case of COVID-19.
I'm Charlie Harder. In a press conference this afternoon, Governor Jay Inslee said it may take quite some time to lift all the restrictions in place.
I don't even want to think about that. I'm just so sick of the sad news.
There you go. We'll see.
Huskies have officially added Nate Pryor and Eric Stevens. You're listening to the Jason Rancher. We're live on AM 770 KTTH, streaming live on our KTTH smartphone app. Now, let's get to. We have 1 hour to do it. RNC chairwoman.
So if I let go,
is trying to hurt.
so I'm the big antenna.
Got a haircut.
FaceTime this because you know, doesn't look.
That's
like
pretty
we're
quiet.
live for a while.
I mean, there's not a lot of noise in it,
What's your level of optimism about
and the pot doesn't make a bunch of noise.
specifics about the Seahawks? Just wait, there's so many different stories.
So no popping and cracking.
You can find an optimist, you can find a pessimist.
So those are the 3 or 4 really strong stations. So I'm pretty happy with that.
Have fans. I think
I mean, it's resurrected.
Somehow finds a way to play out. The nice thing about this is a summer game. The things.
It's resurrected.
And for the most part, we've gotten relative silence as to this.
A lot to get to on mock draft on Wednesday.
Directions and inevitable crash still being reported on Rucker Avenue at 19th Street, so there is a bit of a southbound back.
A lot of noise here, so I'm gonna call that resurrected. I'm pretty happy with it so far, with one capacitor changed. When I get the other capacitors, I'll change them one at a time, and we'll check how well the radio works one at a time. So we'll get to it here shortly. Spent some time just messing around with the radio now that I got it working. I haven't got the rest of the parts yet to change the capacitors and the 1 or 2 resistors that I might change. I did build a AM transmitter out of an Arduino. I think that's how you say it. I found the plans online in the software, so I downloaded them and I built it on a breadboard here. I'll show it to you. So the plans for this are available online, easy download. Maybe I'll provide a link in the description to this video. I tried a 10, it says in the plans to use a 10 microfarad. This is a 10 at 35 volts. It sounds to me the best with a 20 or 22 microfarad. I've got a really big one here, a 22, and it's really super bassy. I think it sounds bassy to me, but I found a website where you can download old radio programs, and I got one ready to go here. I wanted to just kind of check the radio on how it operates, if because the broadcast isn't all that great. I got to grab the antenna, and I just wanted to see if there's, just to see how it sounds. So let's turn it on. Man, allergies are getting to me right now. So how I've got this hooked up, I've got a 3.5 millimeter jack into the computer here, and I've got it hooked up with jumper wires with alligator clips on the end of the 3.5, the other end of the 3.5. The ground, the signal goes in through the electrolytic capacitor into the Arduino, and then this is the antenna here, which I've got hooked up to the antenna is hooked up around the back. So yeah, I guess you can't see any of that, so it's kind of a waste of time to describe that. But I got the signal jerry rigged into it. I plan on building this into a box eventually, but to see how it works. So let's see. Okay, let's try the 10 microfarad electrolytic. It's pretty easy to install. Takes a second here off the breadboard, so just change it real quick. Put the 10 in here. See what you think of the sound. I'll just replay the opening clip again to the shadow. I'm assuming it's not copyrighted because it's free on the internet. I don't know if the sound comes through or not. Maybe the tin does sound better.
Once again, your neighborhood blue coal dealer brings you the thrilling adventures of the Shadow. The hard and relentless fight of one man against the forces of evil. These dramatizations are designed to demonstrate forcefully to old and young alike that crime does not pay.
Remember that, crime doesn't pay. Yeah. Yeah, I think the tin does sound better with the voices. I know when you play music across it, it doesn't sound as good. Yeah, it still needs. It sounds really crackly, and I don't know how you would describe that, but it doesn't sound all that great. The sound is not very well, so I'm assuming the other capacitor, changing the other capacitors, are going to clean up that sound some, or at least I hope so. When I get the other capacitors, I'll make another video of this, see how it sounds. The same clip of the Shadow.